Downtown, I got that heat. Let's go.
Ah, damn. What up, Los? What up, BM?
Yo.
What
up?
you?
What up?
It's gonna be a wild one, man. I can already tell you guys right now. This is big, man. This is big.
You know,
I guess what's actually happening
you know,
is big,
sir.
but Los, like the way it's happening is, man, I'm not.
Yep.
You know me, man. I'm a straight up guy, man. I could take anything as long as you shoot me straight, right? What are you telling people when you shoot them?
Of course.
You know, with the okie doke, with the wraparound. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like pause, but like real talk. It's what it is, dog. Ah, man. This podcast, this live stream is probably going to help a lot of people, though. Yeah, I know. This live stream is probably going to help a lot of people. It's going to help them from a lot of grief. I'm going to help them save money. You know, that's part of the reason why we have our channels. We want people making good decisions, informed consumer decisions. It's what I'm here for, man. That's what the community is all about. And I don't really care what a thong says, bro. Real talk. Let's say hello to some peeps. Kazi, RF Waves, Rolando is here. Thank you guys for coming by tonight. I'm sure it's evening for the Eastern folks, early evening, and then for some of you, it's the afternoon on the West Coast. Let's see here. Kaz is in the house. What up, Big Kaz? Douglas is here. The homie, Magic Mike West, is in the house. Logan is here. What up, Logan? I'm guessing Sean, if I said that right. Welcome to the show. Baby Yoder holding it down with the live stream notes. Salute to you. All right, what do you say we jump in?
Let's do it.
Carlos, before we start, man, give me some vibes, man. How you feeling right now with all this?
I feel vindicated more. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when.
Sean says nearly 12 a.m. in the UK. Nice. All right, so Carlos feels vindication. Does it feel like a weight is lifted off of your back or something?
Pretty much, bro, because people always said, "Oh, T-Mobile will never do this. They'll never raise the price."
Oh, no way, come on.
They'll never they'll never force you out of your legacy plan. And I was like, just watch.
Okay, first of all,
eventually it will happen.
Did someone actually say that?
Yeah, I've gotten told that many times.
Oh, man. That would be the highest order of delusion.
The highest order of the thong. You know?
We all know the T-Mobile shills live in Delulu Town, bro. Come on.
Yeah, give me the vibes, man. Talk to me, bro.
Okay.
Well,
This is to be expected, but I didn't think it was gonna happen so fast.
Oh, so yours is how soon it happened. See, me, it's the way they're doing it.
Oh, the way they're doing it is absolutely atrocious. Don't even get me started on that. But just the fact that they're doing it at this point in time is surprising to me.
Ah, okay. So I get it. So Los feels vindication and is basically saying it's about damn time. We knew it was coming. You're saying sooner than I thought. All right. So that's I'm just looking for the initial vibes, right? B, where you at with this, bro?
well, we can just cut out all this uncarrier crap. That's done. That's dead.
Well,
They ain't doing that no more. They ain't doing that no more. Nobody should be surprised. And as far as the timing is concerned, there's a new sense of urgency at T-Mobile because they're a carrier now. They have a dividend. They're a business now. So there's no more free. There's no more handouts and all this other stuff. Those days are done. Yeah, any consumer who felt like that was going to be something that was going to be their, where there was going to be their long-term business model was sadly mistaken. Everything that John Ledger said, everything that Seaver has said has been a preparation for this moment right here. At the end of the day, T-Mobile
Brian,
executives know.
You know what's funny?
Go ahead.
Sneed and I were talking about this earlier on the phone. Almost the exact same words you were saying. That's what I was telling Sneed earlier.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've said this for the longest. Los has said it. Sneed has definitely said it, and nobody should really be surprised. At the end of the day, these guys' maximum capex the last few years has been $13 billion. AT&T's has been $24 billion. Verizon's has been what, $21 billion? How are they going to ever compete long term with that? Now, of course, capex is going down, and Verizon has already said, I think 17, 18 billion is going to be their norm. I think AT&T said 19, 20 billion, somewhere around there. And what did T-Mobile say? 8 billion. Come on, guys. The writing's been on the wall. One thing about CEOs is that they may do the song and dance and all that stuff, but they will tell you exactly what they're going to do if you listen. They'll tell you. And nobody's better at that, in my opinion, than Hans. But even Sievert will do it. AT&T's executive, they'll all tell you exactly what they're going to do. So now there's going to be true competition from a network standpoint, but also not just from a growth standpoint, because empty calories aren't going to pay bills. Now it's going to be about revenue, the financials, dividend. Is it going to be, is your free cash flow healthy enough to sustain your dividend? T-Mobile's never had to field those types of questions before, but they will now. And so with that being said, here comes no more free. And now we'll see what the market will do. I bet you, and I don't know, but if it were me, if I were AT&T executives, if I were Verizon executives, if I was Hans, if I were these guys, I would be saying, I knew it. It was only a matter of time. Hans has said it before. Those guys have said it. It was only a matter of time. Pressure bust pipes. And so now we're in a situation where, in my opinion, we'll see where the customers go. Maybe there's an uptick for Verizon as far as growth is concerned. Maybe there's an uptick for AT&T as far as growth is concerned. Of course, the MVNO providers and the prepaid providers will probably get their fair share of customers as well, but they may not be with T-Mobile anymore, which is a win for AT&T and a win for Verizon. So now this is the new way of competition. The new way. Not a bunch of free stuff, but you're going to have to pay now. It is what it is. So all this, banter and competitive this and AT&T and Verizon don't care about the customer. Listen. At the end of the day, money talks and the bullshit walks. Guys got to understand that T-Mobile is now a carrier, and they have been for about a year and a half. And this is the final nail in the coffin. There's no way to put a lipstick on this pig in order to be able to pretty it up. It is what it is. And they were more aggressive with this move than even AT&T and Verizon were. And it was the same thing when they established themselves as the most expensive carrier when they went $100 on their most expensive plan versus $90 and $85 with AT&T respectively. So, I mean, guys, they've been telling us, these CEOs will tell you exactly what they're going to do if you're listening. Mm-hmm. That's my take.
Good. All right, let's go into the deets and then kind of tear it down. So what this is going to do is customers who have legacy T-Mobile plans. They are going to be migrated to modern plans, those that are currently sold and offered through T-Mobile website, through T-Mobile app, through T-Mobile, retail channels like stores. The Go 5G plans, right? Go 5G, Go 5G Plus, Go 5G Next. Go 5G is what is it? Essentials, Go 5. I don't even know. Go Essentials. I don't know what they call it, but these modern plans, right? Changes will be impacting starting the billing cycle of November. So customers in the coming days are going to be receiving emails and text messages from T-Mobile letting them know that they will have to act in order to opt out of any type of changes. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to come back to that piece because I think that way of delivering that message and the structure to the way they're doing this, I think that's really the issue, right? I'm going to talk about that momentarily. Plans that are impacted include legacy plans such as Magenta, T-Mobile One, the Magenta 55 Plus, Simple Choice Select Choice, and Simple Choice Business. All right, so there's kind of like the display. This is the internal memo document that the T-Mobile report has. Here is some of the descriptions of like what the transition looks like. So this is what, employees have access to, just kind of showing you what you're moved to based on those plans. Really, I think the only thing a customer can do is call in, opt out, and tell them you don't want any type of migration. And as of right now, it looks like that is an option for customers. Like you don't have to be subjected to the change. But my concern, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier, if you don't opt out or you don't know to opt out, they're going to switch your plans. And if this was to like go on, say, for example, a month, 2 months, or 3 months, and then you try to retroactively undo what happened, something tells me they're not going to let you do that. So I think that's where the deceit comes into play. The fact that this is structured to take advantage of those who are not hawking their account. I told Carlos this early on the phone. I said, Carlos, there are people who have had T-Mobile accounts on T-Mobile One and Simple Choice and all this other stuff that haven't looked at their accounts in years. Their phone bills have been the same. They haven't changed. They're on auto pay. They don't look. If this changes, they're not even going to be aware of it because they're not paying attention. And who knows if there were some text messages that came their way and they opted out of text messages. Now they're not going to get notified. What if the email goes to spam? I mean, like, there's 10 different what ifs that could prevent a customer from getting notified or knowing about the change, whether it's customer neglect and their fault, or it's just the way that T-Mobile's going about the notifications. It's structured for the consumer to be at fault. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very different than what Verizon and AT&T would have done, which is simply add an additional cost or fee to a legacy plan. But I want to mention this because I need this to be crystal clear to the folks out there listening. This is an attack on free lines. This is an attack on people with incredibly priced legacy plans. There are folks out there that are on T-Mobile One with the T-Mobile One International add-on, which is basically like the realest unlimited plan ever offered in the history of the world. There are folks on Simple Choice who are paying $8 a line. You see what I'm saying? And they've got like 7 free lines. So imagine a world where someone is paying $7 a line for like 13 lines. Their bill isn't even $90. Their bill is going to go up to about $250 because their free lines are no longer free. They're going to have fees attached to them, and the per line rate is going to increase. Right? So I wanted to make this very, very clear. This is an attack on free lines. This is an attack on legacy plans. This is an ARPU play. This is a profit play. This is a margin improvement play. B was right. B was talking about how They've got dividends now. B was talking about how they got share buybacks. All of that is fact. All of that is true. They are a for-profit business with shareholders. They are responsible for providing returns. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The days of the uncarrier, they're gone. Those days are unsustainable. That was when T-Mobile was in a position where they were the weakest link in the industry. They now currently have the most expensive priced plan. They now currently have price hikes that are disguised, right? They do that frequently. They've done it like 2 or 3 different times with fees, with SIM activation. I'm not even trying to frame this that T-Mobile's the worst ever. I'm framing it as if T-Mobile's just another company. That's my message. I need to drive this home to you folks. This is not an attack on T-Mobile. I'm not a fan of the way they carried this out. In and of themselves, trying to be more profitable, that's what a business does. So I'm not attacking that fact. I feel like if a customer pays more money, can they expect a better network? So customers that are paying for half their lines and have free lines the rest of the way, should they really enjoy the benefits of a better network? Should they really enjoy the benefits of like improved call quality, more reliable data connectivity when they're paying the same that they paid in 2013? When their lines were $6 a line and half of them are still free? Like there's some of that can be questioned too. In the grand scheme of things, I'm prosumer. I want customers to pay the least as possible that actually a company is willing to allow. But it feels like maybe T-Mobile's just not willing to do business like this anymore, and they're trying their damnedest to get people moved and migrated. So I didn't want to be too long-winded, and I want everybody to get in on this. So I'll circle back to you, Los. Based on what I've said, based on the things kind of covered here, I expect even the folks who are opting out of the change in plans, I expect them to lose their plans in the future. Or there's literally going to be another $5 or $10 price increase per line. I think that's on the docket for 2024. Maybe the end of next year, maybe in the middle of next year. I think there's going to be a point where like the free cash flow matters so much to T-Mobile that they'll do something like that out of desperation. Because what do you do when you can't squeeze the same lemons anymore? You need new lemons. You see what I'm saying? What do you think, Will? Where are you at with this?
Okay, so I look at this, bro. So T-Mobile announced that they're being a dividend company now. They're going to offer their shareholders $1. All right. They said the whole $19.3 billion that's available for cash flow right now will be paid out fully in dividend payments. So that means that's literally going to leave them with $0 of free cash flow for this quarter. So what are they supposed to do? They have no choice but to do what they're doing. Yes, I understand, people are going to get upset and all that. But at the end, T-Mobile is eventually they're a business. They gotta, as much as we love seeing the cheaper option and stuff. Sometimes they gotta price hike something to make stuff happen, bro. Everybody wanted T-Mobile to be a big dog. They said they wanted them to stomp Verizon out. Well, in order to do that, you got to make money. You got to make more money than them. And these free lines, they got to go, bro. I've been saying it, bro. I've been saying to people that have more than 2 free lines, each free line should at least have been taxed $5 each line after that. Or like you said earlier, they should have reintroduced back the taxes and fees. So then at least they're not eating all that cost. Think about all the cost they eat in taxes and fees.
Los? Think about how much the tax and fees add up in a market like New York City or Chicago. Think about that, Los. Those tax rates there are absurd, and that's places where T-Mobile's market share is otherworldly.
Yeah, think about it, Sneed. Like, what is it? $10 a line, $12 a line, depending on what part of Chicago or whatever. And you're giving away a free line. Now you got to pay $12 to keep that free line going for that customer. Like, get out of here, bro. That's it's not sustainable for business, man. At the end of the day, and if the customers fight it to the point to where they start seeing a lot of loss, I think if they are forced to keep all those free lines after 20 gigs, they should be neutered to 1 meg. That's it. Neutered down to 1 meg after 20 gigs.
So you're saying retroactively change the plan terms?
Yep. Neuter them down to the slowest speed, 1 meg, enough to be able to do what you need to do after 20 gigabytes of usage.
Oh, that's an interesting proposal. We do know that customers at T-Mobile tend to use more data than any other company. They've had unlimited the longest. They're a more chicken type of clientele, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. B, let me get you in on this.
So I agree with Los. Business is business, and you have to respect that. They're doing what they have to do in order to compete. Um, Everyone says that all the time, right? They're doing what they got to do in order to compete. You can't compete network performance wise when you're spending $8 billion on your network and everybody else is spending almost $20 billion. You just can't compete that way, especially when you're already so far behind. You're the only national carrier, that doesn't have battery backup on your cell sites. You don't have diesel generators. You don't have the industry standards that AT&T and Verizon have. You're the only one that doesn't have it, and you're charging more money than those guys are. So you got a lot of work to do in order to modernize your sites and modernize your network from a reliability standpoint before anyone will take you seriously, particularly the business clientele and the government clientele that you have where the big contracts are. Nobody's going to take T-Mobile seriously because they don't have the backbone. They don't own any fiber. They have a long way to go, and they know they need these things in order to truly be able to compete for the large contract dollars, for the really, really, affluent customers that are out there. They can't do it the way that they've been doing it before. So what they're saying is, you're either with us or you're not. That's what they're saying to their current customer base. And the people who are currently paying $9 per line or getting free, whatever the case may be, what they're going to see, unfortunately, is that it's cold outside. And you better put a hat on because nobody else is going to offer you $10 a month either. You better put a hat on. I mean, it is what it is. Nobody in this industry can charge those prices that T-Mobile was allowing and include taxes and fees and turn a profit. And I understand that, pro-consumer and da-da-da-da. In order to produce a solid product that customers will enjoy and be happy with, you have to have profit that you can reinvest back into the business to make it better. Especially in an industry like telco, where regardless of whether you put out a new technology, 6G, 7G, 8G, it doesn't matter. You have to put the money in to sustain what you have because radios break, because Osprey get on towers and they do what they have to do, and then you can't touch that tower for X amount of time, and you may have wanted to upgrade that site, but you can't because of birds on the tower. It's against the law. EPA will sue your hindparts, like my father used to say. Rest his soul. I mean, those are the types of decisions that you have to make. It is what it is. This is the industry that T-Mobile's in, and they're taking it seriously. They've to Sneed's point, they've taken the lemon, they've squeezed all of it, all of the juice out of it that they can with respect to growth. The writing's been on the wall for several quarters now. Several quarters. Sievert warned the street. It's getting very competitive right now. Yeah, we know what that means. You're getting a lot of pressure from investors to get them returns because you're not growing hand over fist from the respect of what I've always said the investor wants. The investor wants growth and profitability. And in this industry, it is extremely hard to deliver both consistently at scale. You almost have to choose one or the other. Verizon, for example, they've chose their financials. Makes sense to me. If I owed $150 billion, I would choose my financials as well. So they had their customers choose, and for the most part, their customers have stayed. They've had some churn, but the customers, it's been decent. AT&T, they had a choice. They said we're going to grow for a little while, but we about to turn back the hands of time as well, because now it's time to get financials in order. T-Mobile is now doing the same exact thing, and they've got the furthest to go, and that's why they're being the most aggressive with respect to these pricing changes. They're being the most aggressive because they understand now we've got to be the ones to compete. Again, to Tyrone's point. They've got to be the ones to compete on network performance because look at root metrics. There are not very many pink dots. They didn't win one state, not one state last year, and they won't win one in 2023. Why? Because they spent $8 billion while the rest of their competitors spend $17 billion on a normal year. That's more than double. You can't compete. The NFL is ever going to give a contract to them? Why? They haven't invested in millimeter wave like they should. Building out millimeter wave costs money. Those small cells are expensive when you got to do 30,000 of them in a year, 60,000 in 2 years, 45,000 in a year. I mean, it's a lot of money. In addition to maintaining the cell sites that you already have, doing refarm projects. Oh, let's go back to, there's not going to be another get out of jail free. There's no more 5G stimulus. No, they're not going to let T-Mobile just buy another Sprint. No, now you got to go to auction. Uh-oh, the A word, auction. How much did Verizon spend on their spectrum? How much did AT&T spend on their spectrum? More than what T-Mobile paid to acquire another company. Think about it, guys. $53 billion.
No.
What did AT&T spend? Almost $30 billion. And what did T-Mobile spend to acquire Sprint? What was it? 26 billion, 24 billion, somewhere around there?
30,
Come on, guys.
30 billion.
It was
all right.
That plus the 36 billion in debt that they were in.
So. Oh, with the debt, it's very, very pricey.
Okay,
they're probably close to like 50 plus.
Plus what they pay for the white space licenses.
Okay, so to acquire that company, if it's at 50, Verizon spent 53 billion on space just to get the spectrum that they needed to deploy C-band. And that's just one auction. Auctions typically don't go down in price.
Not typically.
That's the game that they're in. And so they understand, like, in order for us to get the next wave of growth, because their growth numbers are eventually going to stall, especially with the last two deals or the last two announcements that they've had, a $100 plan, which is industry leading in price. Now they know the growth is going to eventually slow down. It's going to come to maybe a screeching. I don't know. It's going to definitely decrease. So if you're not going to grow, your financials better be good, because they're trading at over $100. It is very easy. Snap your fingers to go to $50.
Hey B, let me
AT&T made one or two mistakes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me kind of pivot one thing, I feel like this is important because it's about the consumer. EM, you've worked in the industry with respect to retail. You know the consumer. How do they respond to this? Is it going to be muted? Is there going to be movement? What do you think in terms of a projection or prediction in respect to how the consumer responds to this?
Okay. All right. You tapped my field of expertise here, or former field of expertise.
Right.
All right. So here's the thing about Sprint customers and T-Mobile customers. They are very entitled to their discounts and their promos and their deals and their plans. They don't like being told that they can't have something that they already have, or that the thing that they want is no longer available. Compared to Verizon and AT&T customers, that, to all Verizon and AT&T's credit, when they want to bend over the customer, they at least tell them that they're going to bend over the customer. Sprint and T-Mobile are notorious. They're notorious for rug pulling their customers like this, and it's not going to go over well. That's just the way that's the way that I viewed the industry for the 4 years I was selling. It's going to be bad time. It's not going to be good.
All right, I think we need the voice of reason in here. Ricky, talk to me.
Hi there. What's up,
buddy?
big YouTuber?
Well, just doing little YouTuber things, but carry on.
Yeah. So I guess the topic is skunk-a-doodle-doo. Am I correct?
Skunk-a-doodle-doo.
Yes. Did you guys see on Twitter my speed test? 130 megahertz of N41, and then of course your two LTE things. Did you see the performance? It's just like 4G. We're supposed to be moving forward, not moving backwards. And then AT&T, yeah. So I've tested Skunky in several places here, and they are failing miserably. It's just crazy.
That's crazy. I came to the same conclusion when I was in Vegas.
I'll
be there in 2 weeks, so we'll see how they do when I'm there.
Oh, you're coming in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a blast. Well, you're gonna have to let me know when you get here. We'll have to go get some food or something.
For sure, I'll let you know. So,
hey, comment from Mike Johnson, member of the channel. He said this whole thing was instigated by Verizon and Verizon fanboys.
I think it was instigated
that's
by their
funny.
balance sheet, brother. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh boy.
Excuse me? What?
Oh
What?
boy.
That doesn't even begin to make
What?
sense. That doesn't even begin to make
Oh
sense.
boy.
So I
You
look
know-
at it like this. You
Well,
have to look at it like
before
this.
we do this, I just want to get clarification.
Okay.
I mean, Mike, look, man, everybody's entitled to their opinions. Everybody has a voice within the nation. But what I'm thinking is Verizon has been playing the sideline. They've been basically just sitting out while the other carriers have been, competing in pricing. Verizon bowed out of pricing. So I'm not really sure where
Verizon is smart. They're
I'm not
the
really
smartest player
Hold on,
in the
Rick.
game.
I'm not really sure why it would be Verizon's fault. And I mean, look, I don't think being a fanboy is good on any level because what it does, it'll really mask or hurt your ability to be objective. So I'm not a big thing when it comes to fanboys. But what do fanboys have
Cloud
to do
your
with
judgment.
it? So like if I'm looking at your comment just as is, Mike, I don't see how this is this is Verizon's fault. They're just all in the same industry. I don't see how it's their fault, honestly. They're just part of the competition,
Basically,
right?
Sneed, this is how I look at it. T-Mobile just became a huge corporation. They went from being like a small to moderate sized company to a corporation.
Oh, I agree.
So
100%.
a corporation that's in the top 500, that's in the and what is it? That S&P that they're listed at? Is it the S&P or is it the Nasdaq?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Lois.
Okay,
like,
so they're listed.
That's
in there.
not new.
They have a dividend, but they have a dividend now. They're like the big player. Remember, their stock price goes anywhere between 130 to 145 a share. All right. A lot of these people have 1,000 shares. Do the math at 4% dividend. Let's say they offer 4%. How much on a person with 1,000 shares they're going to have to give dividend payment to? Bro, this is why they allocated the 19.3 billion free cash flow to pay this. Everybody wanted T-Mobile to be the big player. They wanted to. They said that they wanted them to take over and be number one and take Verizon down. All right. They have to do this. They have no choice.
Sure.
This is what a company does.
Let me answer this question for Orlando, who's a longtime viewer and supporter. Orlando, I'll let B answer this question. B, who made this change? I know who did, but B, what do you want to say about it?
T-Mobile leadership made the change. It had nothing to do with Verizon fanboys. Are you serious? No.
Yeah. I think it's a CVER and a CFO decision, right?
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, Losa said it before. EM said it. How else do you want to put it? These guys have to now compete on performance of their network, and it's not just about growth anymore. Look, investors want return on investment. Neither of the big three carriers have been able to deliver solid returns on investment outside of dividends. Let's just be honest. They haven't. They have not. And the reason why is because, again, the investor wants growth and profitability. And none of the three have been able to offer offer both consistently at scale at this particular time.
It's tough to do.
Everybody's kind of
it's very hard
to do. I would say it's impossible. The way that the consumer currently is trained to think they're not going to budge for a phone if they're not getting $1,000 off of it, which is extremely expensive. It's extremely expensive, and that's why CEOs have had to make a decision. I'm going to put my stake in the ground. I'm going to attack growth, or I'm going to attack profitability. That's what they've done. Verizon said, look, I'm going to sacrifice growth. I'm not going to sacrifice my financials. And again, if I owed $153 billion, I would do the same exact thing. AT&T said, hey, look, we can't afford to do that. We already suffered tremendously because of what happened under Stevenson. We got to make sure that we pivot. We've got to do something. We unfortunately didn't have the money to outcompete Verizon for C-band, so we're at a disadvantage there. We got to do something. Well, let's go ahead and attack growth for now. So who's got the best promotions in the game for phones, and who has had it for several quarters now? It's been AT&T. That's what's been holding them together. T-Mobile, we already know they grow. They've chosen the path of growing at all costs. We will give away our product. We will take away taxes and fees. We will do whatever we can to get customers in the door. to get
Don't
them a
get free
part of
lines.
our customer base. Yep. And so now we're at a situation
And the
where,
Tuesdays.
yeah, and so now we're at a situation where the investors say, okay, well, what about us? You guys have been very consumer friendly, except for quote unquote, except for Verizon. You've been very consumer friendly. Now what are you going to do? And so now all of a sudden, to what was said just a few minutes ago, now quote unquote Verizon is smart, the smartest in the game. That sounds
Bro,
familiar
B.
because I've said
Today
that
what
for several podcasts.
Hey B, you know today has been like the two biggest blows, bro. The first blow was about T-Mobile in Las Vegas, bro. They're talking about not deploying millimeter wave when you got the two biggest events coming here, F1 and
Oh,
you got the Super Bowl, the big boy, bro.
cost
And they don't
money.
want to deploy
Cost
millimeter
money,
wave.
low.
And
That,
no,
yeah, that's
and
what
number
happens when
two,
you're the broke biatch.
and
Cost
number
money, low.
two,
Cost money.
now this.
Exactly. Money.
Cost money, lows. At the end of the day, the consumer, of course, is going to love the cheapest option. The consumer wants to get the most that they can for the least for the least possible, requirement on pay. Get the most you can, bang for your buck. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a consumer too. But when you put the business hat on, you have to understand that that's not sustainable long term. That can't be your long term business model. Not in an industry that's this capex sensitive. It's just not. So the pivot now is going to be the true test of all three carriers because everybody's got the same objectives. So now the pricing is going to be more reasonable going forward. So now we're going to see, again, it's going to come back to the engineering teams. It's going to come back to the design teams. It's going to come back to the real estate teams, the people who can deploy the very best network experience from sea to shining sea. That's what it's going to be about. And if you want to play the cheap game, the MVNOs, the prepaid carriers, have at it. But it won't be at $9.99 a line. It won't be free. You'll be paying something. And my prediction, I've said it before, prepaid pricing is next. It's going to go up. It is. Because at the end of the day, these companies have
You
hundreds
are
of
correct.
billions of dollars in debt. That prepaid pricing is going to go up. $25 for unlimited. Oh, it'll be $50 by next year. No, I'm sorry, maybe 40. But I've said before, the sweet spot will be
That's
between
right.
50 and $65 for prepaid service. That's going to be the sweet spot. If you want the best network experience, 50 to $65 will be the sweet spot. And that's where you'll see the entry level plans for postpaid service begin. And which company is the best covered from the respect of offering products and services in all of the different areas that consumers play ball? In my opinion, is Verizon. They've got their postpaid stuff, they've got the network and all that kind of thing, but they've also got the MVNO deals with the cable companies. They've got the largest prepaid carrier, the largest prepaid with respect to subscriber additions in the country still, even despite the losses that they've suffered the last few quarters. I mean, they have themselves very well protected from a defensive standpoint to be able to withstand whatever comes, economically, whatever comes down the pipe, they can withstand it the best. That's the reason why they haven't had to do major pivots. They haven't had to do the major pivots, especially not with what T-Mobile's doing. You can tell when the pressure starts to bust the pipe, the ones that are making the crazy moves all of a sudden are the ones who are the least prepared, who don't have a plumber on speed dial, who don't have any connections, who are living in the city, don't know nobody.
You're
So they're
speaking
playing in
facts,
spaces
man.
that they haven't played in. And so now they have to do all these things in order to catch up. Other carriers have done it too. Verizon had to pivot very quickly. They showed their engineering prowess and their ability to, create that flywheel when they built out C-band to 200 million pops in 13 months. They didn't do it because it's fun. They did it because it was strategic for their business. It was imperative that they did it. To their point, to their credit, and that's outstanding. But now it's T-Mobile's turn because they got this, all this spectrum, and that's great. But they have so many other things they got to do. You mean to tell me you're not prepared for the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl's in February. It's October. You're like, yo, what are you doing? You guys don't already have the designs already ready? The RF engineers haven't already got. What are you doing? You don't own any fiber, so you got to have you put the orders in already for those circuits? If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Because it takes time for the people who built the circuits to actually build them for you.
All right. So let me come back in here and then you guys can kind of go at it.
Can I address Ryan's most recent comment real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's not forget that AT&T is also Illinois Bell, Wisconsin Bell, Michigan Bell, Pacific Bell. They're all
Ohio Bell.
Ohio Bell. And let's not forget that Sprint was at one point Southern Bell South or Southern Bell at one point in time. They were a Bell entity. They're all the children of Ma Bell. So that's a very that's a kind of a pointless take your comment. I don't know. They're all Bell companies. They're all reformed Bell companies, bro.
So I was gonna say, I listened to what B had to say. I mean, everything is factual, right? The everybody's starting to enjoy, the dual purpose of the network. We're seeing a lot of people taken to the 5G home internet. We're seeing a lot of people enjoying these incredible speeds that allow them to do more with their mobile connection. Networks have become more reliable. They become more redundant. They become, denser networks, and higher capacity circuits are costly, and backup power is costly, and, to speak to the CapEx piece and the OpEx piece, and more spectrum that's going to be required in the future, and I mean, if you look at the way things have played out, things are starting to get real for T-Mobile, and they're just responding accordingly, and I don't know what the customer could do other than, temporarily just go ahead and opt out for now. But I mean, there's going to come a point where just $8, $9, $10 lines just don't work. It's just not going to be feasible. And, where are you going to go? Are you going to go to Spectrum Mobile and take advantage of the one bundle with $50 internet and mobile? Well, that'll be good for a year, but then after the year, it goes to, goes up.
Mobile X.
Well, Rick, we know that the T-Mobile customer uses excessive amounts of data compared to the rest of the industry.
Yep.
So Mobile X, a typical T-Mobile bill on Mobile X is going to be $86. So I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, maybe do you guys think this pushes business somewhere? Like, Los, do you think some of these customers start to move maybe to other carriers? If so, which ones?
If the prices go up, yeah, they're gonna go to prepaid. They're gonna go to Mint and all them other ones. That's where they're going.
Sneed. So, I had a good, one of our good friends from the channel was texting me earlier, and he even said, bro, the only thing that's keeping him there is because he's been with the company for so long, and he has that loyal plan. And if they're gonna force him to change it, he might as well just go to the competitor, bro, or to an MVNO.
That's right.
And that's the thing, bro. I really think that a lot of these people are only sticking around T-Mobile for that price. But once they see that the price, they can get it cheaper at, let's say AT&T, because AT&T gives, like employee discounts, or you can go to Verizon because Verizon's been really competitive lately on, pricing. Then people will just end up just moving, bro.
But the thing is, they're not going to find another deal like this. Like,
well, they're not going to
9 lines for $86 and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, of course,
you can find better. But you can find a better network experience. But you can find if you're going to pay if you're going to pay about the same thing, what's the incentive for staying with T-Mobile? It doesn't even make sense. Like, people are smart, and they know if this candy bar is $1 and this candy bar and this one's, they're going to go with whatever the best that they can get. Like, what's the incentive? People were going to T-Mobile because it was cheap and everybody said their network performance improved, which it did, and it was cheap. But it's not cheap anymore, and people still know, okay, T-Mobile is quote unquote just as good. But no, people know if there's some sort of storm or something like that, they know who has generators, they know who has battery backup. They know who's been powering America for the last 100 years. They know that's been AT&T and Verizon. If pricing is now in line, they're going to leave, Sneed. Even if they can't afford postpaid and they decide to go to prepaid or MVNO, that's still a win for AT&T and Verizon, because it weakens one of their biggest competitors. And they still get something. And like I said, if you combine that with the fact that prepaid and MVNO pricing will eventually increase, and it will, It's not. It will, guys. I'm not. It's gonna increase. You're weakening your customer. You're increasing your own revenue, which is what they need to pay their bills. Because both of those companies, as great as they are, they owe a bunch of money to these banks and to these places. They owe money. So it's really not that complicated. People understand, like, look, if I can't save money with these guys anymore, they're going to consider other alternatives. If the
But here's the
pricing is going to
thing.
be
Here's the
this
thing, Pete.
close,
I got to mention this because that's an important thing you brought up. EM mentioned this, and I want to elaborate on it. That he described the T-Mobile legacy customer as entitled and demanding. This is how I imagine what he's saying. I've been a T-Mobile customer for 37 years since the original and I don't want to pay more. See,
Yep.
like that's
That
how he
talking
made
mentality is foolishness.
So that's why that's the impression I get that EM has heard or seen. I'm not saying that's what they look or sound like. That's the impression I get from what EM was describing, right? So that
Right.
customer has two options: stay and deal with whatever is going to be happening in the future, or shop around and, like B said, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
Because, bro, at the end of the day, Sneed, like, look at me, bro. How long I've been with Verizon? They price hiked me, a couple times, but at least they did that. They didn't force me out of my plan that I wanted to keep. I think if T-Mobile went on a different approach on this and said, well, you know what, we'll let you keep your legacy plan, but on those free lines, we're gonna have to charge you $5 a line. So your bill will increase by $25, let's say. So now it went from $84 to $129. But you still get.
So let's say that happens, Los, and what you're saying is true. Shouldn't the T-Mobile customer take that in stride?
Of course, because it's still cheaper than the competitor.
Yeah,
regardless.
Exactly. I still think like that's.
But it's not. The difference in price from competitor to competitor is not 60, 65, 70, 80 bucks anymore.
No,
the difference in price.
B, I don't think you understand, B. These are legacy customers that have several free lines.
Like I'm talking about,
seven out of their 9 lines are free or something crazy. Like we've seen that, bro.
Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. Here's my response to that.
Yeah, I've seen people.
T-Mobile's on a
like I've seen bills be where T-Mobile, they only pay for the first 2 lines, and then the other 5 are free lines. So let's say they increase their bill by $25, $129, you're still getting $129 for 7 lines. Where are you going to get 7 lines for $129? So it's still would be cheaper, and then they would make money on it versus
that's definitely true.
But of course, we see business other ways. Like the corporation just wants the highest dollar, which we know that's how it always works because it's business. Business is business.
Well, I mean, when you have time to do slow incremental improvements or increases in pricing, then you do that. But they don't have time. Like T-Mobile doesn't seem to have time to wait or to drag this process out 3 years. If they do that, how are they supposed to get their capex to 15 billion, to 16 billion, which is right where Verizon and AT&T, Verizon's at 17, 18. They have to get there, and they don't have 3 years. They don't have that amount of time, guys. Like they got to do this as quickly as they can because not only do they have to compete on capex, but they got investors that they owe dividends to. So they got to get their free cash flow up quickly. They don't have time to capitulate to the consumer anymore. That's the reason why they've made this decision. And then why they did it so aggressively. They don't have time. It's obvious. They don't have the time to just go $25 to be nickel and dime. No, they don't have the time. They got to charge regular pricing, quote unquote, in order to be able to make up for what it is that they haven't been doing for the last 3 to 5 years.
All right,
because the investor was rewarding them with higher prices and everything in the stock market in exchange for empty calories on growth. It wasn't profitable; it was just growth. Go ahead, Sneed.
All right, so let me chime in on this because I want to do this while I have, dozens of people here watching, listening, and those that listening on replay, watching on replay, whatever. I want to say something. I want to give Carlos his flowers because oftentimes people forget who's who in this world. Carlos has been calling this for years. So,
Yep.
Carlos, you were right. I want to tell
Bro.
people and let them know that you were right. So I get why you feel vindicated. And I want to say something else. And I don't know how long, like Los, you've been riding with me since day one. Ricky, you've been around for years. You know, B, you've been a part of the community, you've been immersed in it for a while now. I don't know how long, but these are things that we have said were bound to happen based on the moves they were making. When a company does something small, there's going to be 2 more things in the pipeline in like the near term, which means there's 5 more things in the long term. And when they get away with one thing, they're going to get away with the second, third, fourth, and they're at a higher magnitude. And when they started doing, that when they started spending on the network more and when they started the dividends and the share buybacks, this all comes together like sweaty ass cheeks. It all makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hey,
When
Sneed.
you think about the timeline of these,
Skunk-a-doodle-doo.
when you think about the timeline of these events, it all comes together. I'm not surprised. This is why I said, Carlos, you called it, and B, you called it. You can't. This is not a magical fairy tale. These are just this is how things happen. So for the folks out there who have made it their life's work to personally attack my character and my credibility, you
Shame on
suck.
them.
You suck, and you were wrong, and you deserve to eat the worst kind of crow of all time.
That's right.
Especially for the folks that take personal shots. It's one thing to disagree with someone, but these folks were taking personal shots,
Yeah.
acting like
that was
I'm
crazy.
the problem. I got a YouTube channel with 25,000 subscribers. They blame me for prices going up. It's outrageous.
It's
Look at
crazy.
the lunacy, the insanity, the delusion, the visions of grandeur. These people are insane. They'll blame me for stuff like that. They are crazy.
Yeah. I've seen the comments you posted. Shaking my head.
So Sneed. All I'm gonna say is this is gonna be 2 of the last calls I'm gonna throw out there because one of them I've seen documentation on both.
Why doesn't anyone ever come back and admit that you were right? Why do they only personally attack when you make your prediction, you make your projection, and then when it actually happens, nobody comes back to give you flowers, bro?
Because I mean that's just the way. I mean I'm cool with it, bro, but that's just the way it is. I look at reality because at the end of the day, bro, you can't live in La La Land, bro.
That's right.
Life is not a fantasy; it's a reality.
That's right.
But
You can't live in
I-
deception and lies.
I'm gonna throw 2 more at you. I see around January, maybe March at the latest. Magenta MAX customers will be next, and they'll get pushed on to go.
And why the hell not?
Onto the
Lowe's?
Plus.
And why the hell not? Like, what's so outlandish? What's so crazy about that?
They want to get rid of the old biller system. They want to get rid of all that.
And that makes sense because as a business, operating separate billers is more costly.
And I'm gonna tell you the number 2. I'm gonna tell you the number 2, Sneed. And I know you're gonna laugh.
Yep.
But
I got a number 3 for you guys when you're done too.
There's 2 people that have told you this, Sneed, and one of them is me. The other one is Mr. Zero Cool. By 2026, the latest, if we get the right administration, the next one, we will see a Comcast buying T-Mobile. We will see it. And the reason why, because they want that name, that brand.
I think the brand's tarnished. I think the brand's going to be gone. They're just going to consume the infrastructure and all the people. I guarantee you, T-Mobile is on its way out. The whole T-Mobile thing will be gone. We won't even be talking about T-Mobile in the next 2 years. It will disappear. It will be absorbed by another company. I promise you that.
So elaborate, Rick. Tell me what you're projecting, kind of like what that's going to look like.
Somebody's going to take them. Their financials are going to they're going to start going down the toilet. They're going to start churning customers, and then the stock's going to go down. And then next thing you know, they're going to say, well, we got to sell out because the ship is sinking. Let's sell the ship before it goes under the water.
You're saying that at some point in the near future, their business model is going to start to show weakness.
Yep.
And then they're going to lose share, lose customers,
Yep.
and look
and then they're going to jump ship and they're going to sell out to somebody else. Another company's going to buy them out.
Richie said, "I'm switching to Go 5G Plus. I'm supporting the growth of the network."
5G Plus sucks.
That's the best plan that they sell, though.
Oh, you're talking about? Oh, I thought you were talking about the technology 5G Plus for AT&T. It sucks.
No. We're talking about the T-Mobile plans.
Oh, a plan.
All right, now what I did,
I really respect that.
I want to show something. I want to show you guys something. It's okay. I want to show you guys something. I put a link to the StreamYard so that anybody can come in here and discuss all these things with us. Who does that?
Nobody.
Who
Except
else?
For the big YouTuber.
Who else invites the discourse, all the smoke, every week, every podcast, and I put that link there?
Nobody but the big YouTuber himself.
Because look, bro, I'm 10 toes down, bro. I stand on what I say. I'm about that business. There's no fluff and no passes here.
At the end of the day, bro, I look at it like this. T-Mobile cannot survive with paying dividend payments. This is what people need to understand. They cannot survive being a big player and paying dividend payments if they don't make cash flow. They cannot be giving you $84 for 10 lines. They cannot be giving you $9 lines. They just cannot.
Right.
They have to be able to, they got to expand the network. They got to upgrade the fiber circuits. That costs money too.
Lowe's, let me ask you something, Lowe's. Let me ask you something, Lowe's. Should the approach be for the customer, it was a good ride while it lasted, time to move on?
Exactly, bro. You can't have more chicken without paying for it, bro. You go to the grocery store, like B likes to say, you go to the store, you want more chicken, bro. It's gonna cost more money. It ain't gonna give it to you for free just because you want that extra pack. Come on, man.
Here's the legs without the thighs, and here's the beak. And
when do you see in the grocery store when you buy chicken, bro? They say buy one get one free. Where do you see that in any grocery store? Never.
It's music to my ears. You guys are making me cry.
About to expose. Unless it's about to expire. It's about to be rotten.
Even then, it's not going to be free. Even then, it won't be free.
Buy one get one free.
Not
get your rotten chicken.
I've been around. I have lived in multiple states, multiple cities. I have never seen a grocery store say this is about to expire. We're going to give it to you. No, I've never. They're going to get something for it.
Well, sir, you need to shop at Winn-Dixie down in Florida then.
Man, I have never seen it. Hey, you've seen it all the time. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Giving it away? Nah.
Buy one, get one free hamburger. You get it home.
Okay, that's
both
different.
Those hamburgers the same day.
Buy one, get one is different. I'm saying here is a pack of chicken. Nothing else. Take this pack of chicken. Buy one, get one is not the same thing. At least not in my mind. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got our first guest here on the show to the panel. My dude, Frank the Tank Woody. Go ahead and unmute yourself, sir.
Oh, I think it connects. Probably his connection.
See if you're not on T-Mobile, I hope. Dump the skunk. Dump the skunk. That's right, Josh.
Brian says any telco merger should get blocked at this stage. Sprint T-Mobile 1 in retrospect shouldn't have been approved. And PA Speed Test Adventure says dump the skunk. Let's see if we can get Frank the Tank back in here. Frank, what's going on, bro?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Frank.
I just wanted to let Mr. B know that I switched over to the red team. I'm on Team Verizon now.
What?
Outstanding, man.
Hold on. Outstanding. Talk to me about that decision process. Why'd you do it?
I still work for the T-Mobile retail site. Like I said, I love what I do as a job, but I just got tired of all the hacks and the non-transparency and the putting the lipstick on the pig, as you guys like to say on the show. So if I'm transparent with customers and I'm honest with my family members about what they should do with their financial money and with their phone company deals and all that stuff, why should I be with an inferior company as far as coverage and cell phones go? You know what I'm saying?
So some of the things that I have a problem with respect to T-Mobile is more technical. Like my problem with T-Mobile is I still think that they trail their competitors in call quality, like call performance. I still think that's a
100%.
major issue. I also think that part of the the hard time for me accepting $100 price plan is the fact that not only do they have the weakest call performance, but they also have the smallest network. So to me, I think that's where the technicality is that they still are like the third network overall, and they have a very expensive price plan, and now they're commanding more money, which I understand, but that if you're going to command more money, then other things have to get better. So now more responsibility and more onus has to be placed on T-Mobile. Now the expectation is higher. You see what I'm saying?
100%. And don't get me wrong, I still love their network performance in my area. By far, they do have the most 5G in my area, but having the most doesn't necessarily mean having the best. If and I'm sure you guys understand what I'm
That's
saying when
right.
I
Yeah,
say that.
absolutely. Yeah.
100%. No fake 5G.
What's up, Al?
What's good,
And
bro? You
Ryan, you're
dropped my
lucky.
jaw. You dropped my jaw with this one. I'm in like
Uh-oh.
total shock. And you know I'm a T-Mobile fanboy, bro.
Go
But
in,
this
man.
is
Go in.
this is not cool at all, bro. At all, at all, at all. Like this is worse. They want to sit here and criticize AT&T and Verizon.
Yo, Al, real quick, tell them what you do, bro. Let them know where they can find you, man.
Oh, the channel KO Tech. I,
Mhm.
do unboxings and I do speed testing and all of the above.
All right, go
All
ahead,
of the
Al.
above. So they wanted to criticize, right? When AT&T and Verizon did a little price hike on their legacy plans. Added like $2 or $3 to family plans, on their bill. This
Hmm.
is worse. You're actually how is this? How is the FCC and DOJ even allowing this, bro? I have to go out my way now, right? Because my mom and my brother got the legacy 55 and plus plan from way back in 2019. And now I got to call T-Mobile tomorrow and opt them out of this.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
insane,
Yep.
bro.
Crazy.
This is insane, bro. This is pissing me off.
Said about
And then the
having to
crazy part is
call.
that
Customer disrespect.
and then yeah, it is disrespectful. And my brother's account has been open since January 1st of 2000. Since 2000, my brother's
Yep.
account has been open. It's been open for
Yep.
23 years, almost 24 years now. So this is insane that I
So
gotta
what's
take time out my
Al? What's
day.
gonna be that? What's the conversation gonna be like when he calls?
Jesus Christ,
Oh, snap.
this is crazy.
Lots of blips and
What's
bleeps.
that conversation gonna sound like when your brother calls up T-Mobile about this?
Well, I know he's gonna tell me to call.
Com-
They're just gonna give me that verbiage you read is what they're supposed to tell me. Oh no, this is not really a price hike. This is just a change of plan. No, the DOJ shouldn't allow this. They should not allow this for
Well,
them
we're
to.
post-merger, man. It's a different world.
Yeah, but still, bro, this is not cool. Like, how you gonna tell somebody? How about half of the people that are not aware they're not gonna see this video?
100%.
Sneed?
100%.
The
100%.
common
You're right.
Joe, no disrespect, but the common person doesn't really care about tech. Yo,
That's
I got
right.
plenty of friends that have grandfather T-Mobile, and now I got to
Yep.
call them after I get off your live stream because I got to be at work in like 20 minutes and let them know that they got to call T-Mobile because my friends got the grandfathered one with Netflix. So imagine they'll get kicked off that plan.
Can I jump in here real
Yep.
quick?
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, so working in the retail side, I see it both from both perspectives. I'm a customer who got kicked off my legacy T-Mobile One plan when we went to Max. My plan increased by $40, and that is still including my employee discount. So from the consumer standpoint, I completely understand the frustration of customers, but on the same token, from the retail side, when you're getting notices, you're getting text messages, emails, calls, and then you still show up to the store and yell at the rep like it's their fault, I don't think that's acceptable either.
Oh yeah, no, I never did that to the reps. I always knew that's customer care's fault, so I would call them and flip off. I never went into a store and flipped off on a rep. No, never, because it's not their fault. The store employees don't have nothing to do with the whole billing. Billing is with customer care itself when you dial 611, whether it's Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, or AT&T. So I never recommend going into a store and flipping off on somebody that has no control over the whole situation. I just think it's disgusting because, like I said, now I got to call my best friends that are on the grandfathered T-Mobile One plan, and they got to call T-Mobile and say that they don't want to be switched, which I think this should have never happened. I think it should be a choice. Like they should shoot people an email. Look, do you want to switch or do you want to stay in your old plan? But to not say nothing and then automatically switch people, at least they could have made a press conference. But they know this was gonna have a lot of people pissed off, so that's why they didn't do it. They're just gonna do it behind the wraps, and then when people call pissed off and cursing out in store employees and even people at customer care that have nothing to do with this, they're gonna read them that verbiage, which I think is
Yo,
just
Al, do you
garbage.
think that the T-Mobile customer expects too much?
I would say no. I mean, it's only the right thing, but I just think that T-Mobile is just nickel and diamond too hard, bro. Like right now, I'm upset that I had to pay $35 to upgrade online by myself, and it's still a convenience fee.
What'd you do? Buy an
Um,
iPhone?
yeah, I got the 15 Pro Titanium Bluetooth 56. So how did I get listen to this, Sneed, everybody? How did I get a convenience fee of $35 that I had? They took out my Discover card right away after I ordered the phone. When who helped me? You get what
Did
I'm
you make
saying?
your order? Did you make your order online?
Yeah. So who helped me? And I still got charged the $35 convenience
So
fee.
can you call back and get a credit on that?
Yeah, I did,
You
but I
can,
shouldn't
but you
have to
shouldn't
do
have
all.
to.
And look, listen, guys, and they didn't even want to do it. They didn't want to do it. I said I'm a YouTuber. Look up my channel, and the guy looked up my channel. He was like, yeah, you know what? And your account has been open since January 1st of 2020,
Uh,
23 years of
Yeah, they
loyalty.
panicked.
I'm
They
a
don't want
yeah.
Alex attacking them. Trust me.
so they didn't want the smoke, Al.
No, but I shouldn't have to call those need. How is that a valid convenience fee when I'm ordering this phone myself through the My Team mobile app?
Yeah, man. That's
Sweaty
valid.
armpits.
Bro, like
PU.
That's
what is
Eugene.
T-Mobile doing, bro? I'm serious. What are they doing? It's just disgusting, bro. It really is disgusting. Like I'm
I
dead
work
serious,
here. We're not the uncarrier. We're the recarrier, if you ask me. That's my personal opinion.
bro.
Yeah, what I want to know is why they're not having an uncarrier announcement of this, what we're talking about today. Why?
I know, right? They're supposed to
Because
say
it's not an uncarrier move.
Eugene ran out of deodorant.
It's a bend over customer move, is what it is.
Is we're gonna increase your price without not your knowledge and worry about getting cursed out later. That's what it
You've been
is.
loyal for us for 20 years. We're going to bend you over and slap you on the crack.
Yo, guys, it's crazy, man. I'm dead serious. It's not even. We laugh about it, but I feel bad for a lot of people that are not tech savvy. I'm dead
You know
serious.
what's gonna
Like my
happen.
friends are gonna
You
be
know what's
pissed.
gonna happen.
My friends are gonna be pissed, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Yo,
I
I
gotta be
really
honest.
have to call customer care." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm not joking. If you don't want to lose this grandfather One Plus plan with free HD streaming included, you gotta call them."
Yo, we got a moose sighting, folks. Moose sighting, ladies
I
and
had to
gentlemen.
come in. I had to come in.
Oh, Moose. Hey,
Yes.
Moose.
I
Moose,
just
tell your
left my
people to
parking
fix your
structure.
garbage.
No, come on, Rick. Let's
Moose, most
stick to
important
the
thing.
thing, man.
I
Come on,
just
Rick.
I just got out of my parking structure. I had to say this. I feel vindicated. And I feel the vindication. Okay? Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The
Oh,
Sneed
God.
reminded me that I said this on record
Yes,
on a
sir.
podcast in 2021
That's
and
right.
2020. I said this that one of these days, T-Mobile is going to come in and get rid of all these ridiculous plans that you're paying for 12 lines for $110.
That's right.
Ridiculous.
We all been saying it.
And guess what? Free lines are going away very soon too. They're first going to
Yep.
start with the same BS that they did, right? With the Go
Yep.
5G whatever thing where it's $10 extra a month, then it's going to be another 5, then it's going to be another 5, and then it's eventually going to be the same price.
T-Mobile
I'm telling you
Tuesdays
this.
is going away too. It's coming.
This is what's going to happen. And guess what? It has officially happened. I just spoke to a buddy of mine. I sent him the article. He immediately told his family, "Hey, we are moving to AT&T Because why the hell am I going to be paying the same price as AT&T and
Churn
get
and
worse
burn.
service? Why am I going to be
Isn't
paying
that
the
what
same
isn't
price
that,
as Verizon? Doesn't make
isn't
sense.
that what I said? Isn't that what I said about 5-7 minutes ago, Sneed?
Yes,
Isn't that
sir.
what I said?
But I'll
Mhm.
say
That's
this,
exactly what
guys.
people are going to be doing. That's
Listen,
Yes, exactly what's
100%
gonna
what's going to
happen.
this
happen.
is the craziest part, right? You guys know I got all three. I got my
Mhm.
AT&T business line. I'm testing the Verizon prepaid right now, and I still got Visible, right? And I got T-Mobile. T-Mobile gets the best service inside my bar where I work at, right? Even in the basement. But the speeds for 5G you see are so bad, it's unbearable. And then Verizon switches from 5G UW to LTE, and then T-Mobile, I mean AT&T is the strongest in there though. With 5G plus penetrates that bar, and that's cement, like straight brick, and it goes in there. And the best speeds I get from AT&T, I'm not gonna lie, AT&T is the best one that works at the bar overall, because T-Mobile drops calls like there's no tomorrow. Verizon will
I
drop
thought you said
calls in the basement.
T-Mobile was the best at the bar. Which one is
It
it? Is
is,
it
but
T-Mobile or is it
no,
AT&T?
no, no. But I mean, like for internet wise, T-Mobile sucks, bro, because it has the best service. Like for call quality, of course, it has all the bars. But as far as advertisement, because it shows me, I want to explain it to you. It shows me 5G UC, but the speeds that I'm getting is 1 meg down and 0 0 up. So it's demise.
Okay.
It's basically
Exactly.
demise.
Got a lot of that going on here in Vegas too.
So that's a lot of demise, is what I'm trying to say. So in that route of bars of service, it has all the bars. AT&T has three, T-Mobile has four, and Verizon has three on LTE. Which I don't mind the Verizon LTE, but it's just like hard to penetrate to the walls. But I'm glad. Look, trust me. Verizon is doing big things, bro. I got over 110 up on C-band and 680 down on C-band in my room.
Verizon's just getting started. Wait till you
They're
see
adding
what's
more
going to happen in
backhaul.
1 to 2
I can
years.
tell. They're adding more backhaul. So I'm happy about Verizon doing, what they need to do to stay competitive. And AT&T's adding more backhaul too, because this morning I was getting 90 up on AT&T and 610 down. I just didn't make a video. I was too tired. I was like, I'm going to sleep. It was already like 6:30 in the morning. But yeah, man,
Quick jump in here.
T-Mobile's trying to charge the Verizon and AT&T prices when they really can't. They can't, man, because overall, not gonna lie to you guys, in a lot of places, T-Mobile yet has coverage that could be like 100% reliable. Like right now, at the bar next to my job, the tower's down. They've been trying to fix the tower since January of this year. So when are they going to give up and just tear it down and just put all new panels or whatever it is that they need to do to that tower? Because that tower's down, and that's what's causing me a lot of problems at the bar. The other day, I
No
was dropping
capex.
calls. I dropped 75 phone calls in 6 hours. 75. So I was like, this is crazy. This is just disgusting. Disgusting. And just yesterday, I was receiving my shortcut messages, for fraud prevention on my credit cards when I had to go pay. They sent me a 6-digit code. I was receiving the six digit codes like 3 or 4 hours later on my T-Mobile business line. So I was like, this is just, I gotta call them. They don't need this anymore. On my
So
bad.
I got an update as well. I spoke to my guy, right? My contact at T-Mobile. He told me that the reason why they are doing this is because they did a survey on let's say a hundred customers, right? That were in this impacted legacy customer situation, right? How many customers do you think are actually going to call in to keep their plan? Just guess.
Less
How
than
many
10.
percentage?
Less than 10.
Guess. So Sneed says
6.
less than 10,
6.
6%.
5%.
Okay.
15.
Pretty high. Go ahead. Keep going.
2.
Pretty low. In the survey, in the control group of 100 customers, only 9% called in that they do not want the price increase. The 91% didn't care, didn't read, too late. They did not read, and it was too late. They had the upgrade, the price increase. They were screwed. So what they're saying is that more than 90% of the people are going to not call in. They're not going to care, and it is what it is. But they do anticipate their churn is going to spike.
Yes, it will spike.
Specifically from these plans, right? From the legacy upgrade to the new plans, they will spike. The churn will spike
It will.
because people are not going to allow this to happen. Like, hey, if you're going to increase my pricing, fine. I'm going to shop elsewhere now because the inflation is getting really serious right now. Very
Yep.
serious.
Most of them are going to go to
Be,
MintMobile.
that's right. The issue is going to be though, if they just purchased an iPhone 15, so they basically renewed their installment
Oh
plan with
yeah,
T-Mobile.
they're screwed.
Oh yeah, they're done because they're now they're gonna go from paying, let's say, $15 per line, $10 per line, to paying 45, 40, 35 minimum per line.
Yeah, price increase, Moose.
Yeah, this is a big one, man.
Tell me you're raising my prices without saying you're raising my prices.
Yep. What's the community saying about this, by the way, Sneed?
Oh, they're mad.
So we've had a couple of folks say that they support T-Mobile and generating more revenue so they can build a better network. We've had some sensible folks there. We've got some folks that are kind of like, oh, it's cool. I take advantage of the great pricing and free stuff as long as I can. When it goes, So they're cool. They're going to take it all in stride. And then there's some customers talking about churning, right? They're going to start shopping around. So we've seen the gauntlet. We've seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who are disgruntled. They don't want to see their pricing change. So,
So, but the issue that I have though is, are enough people going to be aware of this price increase?
I laid out a scenario, Moose, where I said, there are people who have, email will go to spam, text message won't go through, they'll swipe left, they'll, they won't open, and then, some of these folks maybe haven't opened up their T-Mobile account in years. They set it to auto pay in 2018. They don't even look anymore, they'll figure it out 2-3 months after, and they won't be able to revert back to the old plan. I could see that happening to quite a few folks, Moose.
In defense of T-Mobile, though, as far as that goes, they can't be held responsible for that. If people want to be that far disengaged from the companies that they do business with, that can't be something T-Mobile has to take responsibility for.
Yeah, but they built the structure to the way that this is getting carried out, so they're culpable for that.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You as a customer have to take action to tell them that you don't want to pay more for service.
Mm-hmm. So
this is a company that said we won't raise your prices.
Yes, that's true, and we all knew that was a lie.
So why? Like, see, this is what I'm talking about, B. This is what I'm talking about. We are taking the things that they say and we are pulling the receipts.
I agree with you guys. So this is me. I'm B. I'm the one that's been agreeing with you guys for the last hour. So I don't need to be convinced. You guys are right. The only thing that I'm talking about in their defense is how you communicate with the customer. And I think all companies struggle with that, because you can't call because the customer's not going to answer the phone if they don't know the number most of the time, especially if it's an 800 number or 888 or something like that. If you send them something in the mail, maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't, maybe they'll open it, maybe they won't, they'll throw it away. That's a toss up. If you send them an email, maybe it'll go to spam, whatever the case may be. It is very challenging to talk to the consumer, to talk to your customer.
B, can you hold that thought just for 1 second?
Okay.
Hold that thought right there. Austin, thank you for the super chat. That might be the first one of the night. So big salute to you and thank you, man. I'm going to continue watching this. And if my plan does actually get migrated over, I'm leaving for Verizon. Go ahead, B.
That's
My
right.
man. So again, so I think all companies struggle with being able to communicate with their customers. You put information on a customer's bill, in respect to, you guys know, the taxes and fees and whatnot that all of the companies, when you're postpaid, all of them charge for. The new 988 feature for suicide prevention, all that stuff is in there. Some of those fees, particularly the federal fee, it changes like every quarter, and that information has to be made available to the customer. And the primary way, for example, that the carriers do that is on your bill. People, maybe they read the last page of the bill, maybe they don't, who knows? But it's hard to communicate that stuff. Even our own very government at the local, state, federal, all of the various levels of government have trouble reaching and corresponding with taxpayers, because people will decide to not view, or whatever the case may be, whatever it is that they don't want to view. So
So
I understand. I
I just
understand
want to
what you're
say this
saying.
one
It makes sense.
before I
I have a
forget this
thought
Go
here.
ahead.
Can
thought.
I jump in
Just
real
want to
quick?
say this. This is going to set a new precedent for the industry. You guys realize this, right? This is the first time that a company is forcing the migration. That has never happened before in this level, at this
But it's
level.
not forcing. It's not forcing that you can call and have the ability to be able to keep it.
No,
That's
I
the
know.
reason why. Yeah,
But,
like that's the reason why it's not going to be classified as force. Now, I
but,
agree this is the most aggressive, but they're gonna. I mean, I'm just telling you what they're going to say. They're going to say it's not force. You have the
let me
ability
let
to
me
be
tell
able
you
to call
this.
in.
Let me tell you this, okay? How many customers do you think are affected by this? Just guess.
It's 50% of the clientele, Moose.
Okay, hold on. Let's say hypothetically 40 million customers, right? 40 million, right? Okay, keep with me here. 40 million customers are going to call in 30 days? Impossible.
More than likely not.
Exactly my point.
Wait a minute, Moose. This includes Magenta, right?
Everybody, dog.
Oh, then
Everybody that's
this
not.
is like 70% of the customer clientele.
So that's what I'm telling you. This is effectively a forced migration because this is only through the call center, through care, not through the online chat, not through in person at the retail store. So you only have an option to call in to opt out, right?
Okay, Moose, you just gave me an idea. How long is it going to take for someone to get through to make this call?
Exactly. The call centers are going to be exploding in calls effectively starting today and basically like WTF, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm out. I'm
Well,
turning immediately.
Rolando made the call and did the opt out. I wonder how long it took him.
Well, we'll see what
I
happens.
definitely.
But
I
go
definitely
ahead.
agree that this is the most. This is definitely the most aggressive. I mean, Moose is right about that, and I agree 100%. I just don't think that people are going to be able to win that legal battle as far as it being classified as a forced migration. It's not going to be classified that. But this is the most aggressive. I know for a fact AT&T and Verizon wouldn't have been able to do this and get away with it. Only T-Mobile can quote unquote get away with
Exactly.
something like this. They're the
So
only
that's what
ones who
I'm
will be able to
saying.
do it. And that, but I
I
blame the consumer for
yeah.
that, because the consumer has been allowing them to get away with things for so, and that's why I think Frank is the name, was one of the guys who was. I mean, I was listening to what he was saying. I definitely was, understanding where he was coming from. I get it, but my question, what I wanted to ask him was, well, was this the last straw? Because I mean, they've been wagging the dick in your face. Excuse me, I'm sorry to be disrespectful or inappropriate, but they've been wagging it in front of your face for at least the last 18 months. And T-Mobile customers have said and done nothing. They've continued to add lines and 600,000 and this how many thousand and this. I mean, what? So this
Hey,
was the
B,
last
can I
straw?
respond? Can I
Sure,
respond to that? Yeah. So,
absolutely, yes.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and I completely agree with you. Yes, and it was the last straw for me. The only reason I was with them for as long as I was because I had installment plans I needed to pay off before I could switch. Because I wasn't going to go to
Got it,
Verizon and get a new contract on another device. You know what I'm saying? So I needed
got it,
to
got it, got it.
financially be free. But I do agree with what you're saying, which is why I switched. I got tired of all the BS, and I work here, so that should say a lot.
That makes
So
a lot of sense. I respect that.
let me go back to
I
really
would.
quick, B. The 40
Yeah,
million,
go
because I
ahead. Go ahead.
want
I'm
you to
sorry.
respond to this, because I feel like this is a pretty wild stat, right? Let's say 40 million customers are affected, right? Even 10 million, man. Just think about the economics of scale here that we're talking about, right? There's no way that even a million customers will be able to call in 30 days. They have not given
Yo,
enough
Moose, I'm not.
time. Yeah,
I'm not in disagreement with you at all. You're right, man. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
your
This is
overall
crazy.
like point is 100% correct, and I agree with you. If I didn't make that clear, then I apologize. I don't say it again.
No,
I
it's all
think
good.
you're right. Yeah, like
This
this
is,
is the most
yeah,
aggressive any
this
company has
could be,
ever done
yeah,
with respect to these types of market. And again, and you I mean, you just agreed. So I mean,
yeah,
there's no way AT&T or Verizon would have been able to do this. But your point is also correct that this does set a new precedent. If this is allowed to continue, and I'm sure that it will set a new precedence going forward. It
right?
will.
Because,
And again,
yeah,
it's hard for me not to blame the consumer. Because again, T-Mobile has been allowed to get away with so much, and the consumer has said and done nothing but continue to add more lines and continue to deepen their relationship with that company. So I mean,
yeah,
I, I
yeah,
certainly don't want to be disrespectful or inappropriate to anyone. It's not that, but it's just there are consequences to what's gone on the last few years. People have gotten in bed with T-Mobile and have applauded almost every move that they've made with their feet, with their credit cards. Like that's what they've done. They may have been upset about the security hacks and all this other stuff, but the credit card swipes continued. They kept going. They kept going. They kept going, and they kept adding lines and adding lines. And I mean, I know I was one of those people who was saying, "What are you guys doing? Nobody's mad about this." I guess this was the last straw. And for me, and I think Los and a few other guys, I know Moose just said it as well. Guys feel vindicated because a lot of people have been saying this was only a matter of time, and now we're seeing it. At the end of the day, it's a corporation, man. And I mean, those people are employees and they have responsibilities just like we all are. So, I mean, the free stuff, man, it was bound to end. And now it is. Here we go.
So here's the question now, right? Will the industry pivot to what T-Mobile just set in stone that they're okay to do?
They're not the
Every
trendsetters, probably not.
I mean,
What if
Everybody's
eventually,
it's
I'm
following
sure
unfair?
Verizon.
maybe they'll tip their,
Wait, hold on a
dip their
second,
toe
Moose.
in eventually.
Hold on a second, Moose. You are implying that Verizon and AT&T are going to move like T-Mobile does?
Listen to me on this.
Okay.
This is effectively a reverse uncarrier. Okay? If you really want to be cynical about it, this is technically an uncarrier move
Okay,
because
so let
no
me ask you this,
carrier.
Moose. Okay, Moose, let me ask you this before this goes in a different direction.
Okay.
In a customer's perception, what is more respectable? A price increase to a legacy plan or a forced migration from a legacy plan?
Neither. They like stuff being free.
I need an answer though. Which one is more respectable and which one will the consumer
You know,
gracefully accept?
The
you
price
know what?
increase because they wouldn't notice it.
It'd be interesting if the thongs are gonna spin this saying, I'm glad that they migrated me because I get more features. But then in reality, they have
But
the
then why
exact
didn't
same
they move on
features.
their own?
Right.
If they really mean that and they're not being disingenuous, why didn't they move on their own and upgrade themselves?
Right. But I'm telling you this right
That's
now.
bullshit. That's a liar.
Okay? I'm telling you this right now. This is going to set a new precedent in the industry that this is okay to do, and the customer is just going to have to take it. And if this passes with no class action lawsuit, I'm telling you this right now. If people are not up in arms and there is no class action lawsuit, there will be a class action lawsuit because there's no way that 40 million customers are going to be able to opt out in a month. No way.
Okay, so just increase it to 60 days instead of 30.
Even
All
60
right.
days.
I mean,
You couldn't do
okay,
you couldn't
so
do
what's
it.
a
You
reasonable
couldn't do it with you
what's a
couldn't do it with
reasonable amount of time
120.
then?
You couldn't do it with
You
120 days, bro. That's too
I
many
mean,
customers at once.
honestly, guys, if
Listen,
40
listen
million
real quick.
people
I think
try to call in, if they all try
I
to call
think
in at the same time, I agree. But I mean, what's a reasonable amount of time to give for people? I mean, because the government doesn't give you 120
I would say
days to
6
make a
months.
decision on stuff either.
I would say
6
6
months?
months. Yeah.
But the IRS doesn't give you.
They never did it until it was too late. That's the problem. People will get the messages for months and months at a time and do nothing, and then complain about it afterwards.
Exactly.
That's just what they do.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, 30 days is a long time. When oftentimes these call centers are open from 6, 7 in the morning till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. That's well over 12 hours. I'm not saying people aren't busy, but 30 days is a long time. Now, would I be open to increasing that amount to 60 days, whatever, maybe even 90? Absolutely. I mean, we want to be fair, but you don't get, 60 days to pay your mortgage. We're talking about a phone, guys. I mean, what's a reasonable amount of time to give for people to be able to make whatever concession they want to make? Maybe you make it available, they can opt in online or something like that to make it available. But I mean, I don't think that's class action lawsuit worthy. Just because I understand what was just said, people will sit on things, and then when it's the last minute, now all of a sudden it's a firestorm, and now all of a sudden the lines are all busy. But this has been available for a while,
But this is where the problem lies right here, B. What about those Magenta plans that are supposed to be price locked for life? Now you're
Very
moving
true.
them.
Now that's a
Remember,
good point.
Bryce,
Now
that's a class
that's a
action
good point.
lawsuit.
Wait a
Now
minute. Why
that's
is it a
that's
good
a
point now?
different.
This is
But
the same shit that I said 5 minutes ago,
that's
dog.
not. I'm not talking about what your point is. I think what Los just said is different from the class action lawsuit for not giving people the amount of time they need in order to be able to make a decision and call in.
But
That's
when you
different
make
than what
such a
Los just said.
substantial change to a whatever is being bro, what is it, the Better Business Bureau, bro, the NTIA or whatever it's called, they should be on T-Mobile's ass.
No, I don't disagree there, because at the end of the day, you guys are right. They did promise to lock in prices. That's something that they advertised for a long time. I'm with you guys there. And if the class action lawsuit attacks that, have at it. I'm on board. But just me personally, it seems like the majority of us have worked in customer service to some standpoint, and to stand, alongside them, to stand in defense of them. Like, come on, man. I mean, 60 days, 30 days. I mean, someone said 6 months. I think that's unreasonable. It doesn't take 6 months to make a decision whether you want to keep a phone plan. When you don't get 6 months to pay your mortgage. I mean,
Okay,
we're
so
talking
check
about
this out.
phone.
So the FCC does require at least a 30-day notice if there's going to be a price increase of less than $10. Okay? But if it's more than $10, it does require more time. And for majority of these plans, it is going to be a significant price increase per line. But they're
Well,
only
that's
giving
why I
you 30
said give
days.
more time. And that's why I said give
Right.
more time. And that way that makes it fair. Make it 60 days, whatever the case may be. But I don't think 6 months is reasonable, but I think 60 to 90 days at the most is more than reasonable. Give them to the end of the year. That's 60 days right there. Give them to the end of the year. Give them to the end of January. That's almost 90 days. Give them that. I think that will be more than fair. 30 days, okay. Give them 60, give them 90.
All right, so
And
this
that's
is
just in
something I
defense
want to
of
talk
customer care.
about, B. This is something I got to talk about. Part of the reason why T-Mobile wants this to be swift is they're more likely to get over on people. You don't want to give people time. You give people time, it decreases the likelihood of the conversion. The point of no
Absolutely,
return
you're
when
right.
it's gone beyond the
You're
statute of
absolutely right.
limitations. You see what
You're
I'm saying?
absolutely
So
right.
when we start talking about time, that's what they don't have. That's what
I just
T-Mobile
said that
doesn't have.
I said that 30 minutes
and I'm,
ago.
and I'm,
They don't have
and I'm
time.
echoing
Yeah.
and I'm echoing that to prove the point that this is sneaky on the sly, bro. This is slick like Noodle grease, bro. This is Jerry Curl juice. This is Easy E at the White House, dog, on the sofa. All right.
I don't disagree.
Imagine if they wait 90 days. Okay, let's just say 90. Bro, how are they going to pay the dividend payments next quarter?
Every single quarter, guys. They don't have time. They don't have time. I mean, they don't have time. I don't know how. I don't know any other way. There's no other way to say it. They don't have the time. These dividend payments come so quick. 90 days is not a lot of time. You got to do this 4 times a year.
Think about this too, B. So they said that the 19.3 billion free cash flow, the whole thing was going to be used for dividend payment and stock buybacks, right? That's what they said
Which is
when they
stupid.
announced
That is what they
what
said.
they announced. So think about it. So that means they're taking in consideration that's going to be at least $19 billion every quarter that they're going to have to pay out in dividends. So how the hell are they going to get the money every quarter? If it took them to
I
get
have no
19
idea.
billion, it took them years.
I have no idea. That's an excellent question, Los. I have no idea, man. I mean, take it out as a loan. I don't know. Rates are crazy right now. They'd be crazy to take a loan out for that amount. But I
They will
mean,
get acquired.
You know how they're gonna do it? By charging these charges that I just talked about. You getting a convenience fee, even if you do it online. That's how they're gonna pay all this
Well, I
back.
gotta ask you, bro. At what point are they gonna stop giving away thongs on Tuesdays?
I don't think that's never gonna stop because T-Mobile Tuesdays is not costing T-Mobile anything that it really impacts them in a negative way. To be honest, they're just giving you, like
Yeah,
little
because customers
discounts
go
here
in
and
and
there.
want something free. They're not buying nothing, right?
I mean,
They
when I
also
go to,
talk to
I know a
me.
lot. Listen, when I go to Little Caesars and I get the Little Caesars disc, get more pizza. So, if anything, the companies are making more money. Like recently, I got 30% off. I think it was Adidas, right? And I bought 3 pairs of sneakers. So, Adidas was happy. They was like, yeah, well, he got a 30% discount for T-Mobile
Yo,
Tuesdays.
hold on a second, bro. We got to talk about this. Caleb is saying Verizon got the best network. Come on, Caleb. You know that the GOAT in 5G is T-Mobile, bro. That's just indisputable.
Stop it, Sneed. Stop it.
Ah,
at this point, Sneed, I just think you do that to try to raise my blood pressure. I just want to let you know that my blood pressure
Well,
is
I'm asking,
outstanding.
did you take your medication today?
Hey, man, I'm not on any blood pressure medicine. I am doing very well. I've
All right,
never
just
been
a
on
heat
any
check.
blood pressure medicine. Never been
Just a
on any
heat
blood
check.
pressure medicine, and I don't intend to ever be on any blood pressure medicine. But you are not helping with these crazy accusations.
no, but he's
Bro, it's
just saying what T-Mobile says. He's just, re-implying what T-Mobile, what T-Mobile promotes. Because even the MVNOs are now saying when they run on T-Mobile, the largest 5G network in the nation. So they're even implying the same thing. We all know. Listen, I've been doing intensive testing, and T-Mobile does cover a lot of Pennsylvania, and there's been a lot of parts in Pennsylvania where Verizon doesn't have 5G UW. There's still parts of northern Pennsylvania where I currently went, where my brother sold this truck no, my cousin sold this truck, and we went to like Scranton, Pennsylvania, and up there, no 5G W at all. And T-Mobile had
Same thing with
5G
Southwest
UC,
Michigan.
and I was getting like 500 megs down. I even made a video. It's on my channel.
now why do
So,
things like that happen? Is because T-Mobile's the GOAT in 5G. We know this.
nah, I would consider the GOAT in 5G millimeter wave. And who has the
Yep.
most millimeter wave? Verizon. So you can't compete with that, bro. When it comes to 5G UW ultra wideband, yeah, you can't compare 3800 over 550. That is the fastest that I got so far.
The real GOAT will
To
show up on Super Bowl Sunday.
to me getting over a gig with T-Mobile on 5G UC. I mean with N41. I think T-Mobile should have invested some time in some millimeter wave. I understand a lot of people criticize it, but let's be honest, it is
Yo,
the
Al,
best
I got a
5G.
video that I got to show you. I'm going to drop it probably in the next 24 hours. But there is a site in New Jersey that used to have millimeter wave for T-Mobile. They took it down, dog.
What?
They took
What the
Yes.
hell?
They took it down and put up 20 megahertz of DoD, bro. I'm not even lying, dog. They
Wow.
traded 20 megahertz of DoD for
For millimeter
800
wave.
megahertz of N260, dog.
Oh my god, bro.
Ryan Fraley, is he being
I'm
serious or is he
disgusted.
joking? He said Verizon has to speed up N77 deployment. Is he being real? Was that a like a mistype or something like that?
No, he's probably
Or
being
is he
honest
being
because he
serious?
doesn't. No, he's probably being
Look,
No,
serious,
Ryan,
but
I
like,
think
I get it. Everybody
I
wants
think he's
more
being
5G
genuine.
UW. I totally understand. I've never seen anybody build out a network this fast. So yeah, I guess
It has
we
never
all want
happened.
things
There has never been a
faster.
faster rollout.
Right. But I'm just saying, I think, we could all use more and faster and better and all those things. But like realistically, they're building pretty fast.
It is the
yeah.
fastest rollout ever.
But
Now,
this
come
is
on,
but
man.
we're
Come on,
talking
man. Come
we're
on, Ryan.
But
talking
Verizon, yeah,
but
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking national here. We're not talking about Southern Illinois, right? So
Yeah, we're not talking about certain states. They're trying to hit every state, so it's kind of hard.
it's hard to do,
That's why I
man.
tell people
Hard
to
to
be
do.
patient because I've been having a lot
Faster
of people in my
doesn't
comment section
necessarily
too
mean better.
saying I'm still stuck on LTE with Verizon and I have postpaid service, and I'm like, yeah, I understand, bro, but it's taking time. You gotta understand. This is why we tell people, Sneed, the major markets are gonna get touched first, and then the rest of the
Which
rest of
PA are
the.
you in, Al? Which like do you know what number? Like I'm in PA 14. Do you know yours?
He's in the Philly market.
Yeah, I'm in the Philly market.
Oh, so you're top 8, top 7,
Yeah, I'm in the Philadelphia
top
market, so
6.
that's why I'm
Oh
lucky.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I tell people. I might be in the hood, but I'm in the Philadelphia market, so I gotta be happy.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
you see
major.
so much millimeter wave. Yo, I found 2 new millimeter wave posts, bro, that I'm gonna do videos on.
But Al, they've been saying T-Mobile that Verizon stopped the millimeter wave. That's what they
Oh, that's a
said.
lie. That's a lie because I got 2 new poles over here in Trenton.
I see new millimeter wave all the time, bro. It gets deeper and better all the time in
Yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, man. One of these days, Sneed, we gotta set up a day so we could do a live stream on my channel.
Let them
I
and
gotta get to
remind the
work
people
this
what you
early.
do, bro. Tell them where they can find you and shit. Go ahead.
Alex KO Tech. Like I said, I do speed testing, unboxings, price plans. I show you the latest deals for the prepaid phones because I know a lot of people don't like postpaid, so I cater to them too. So even on postpaid when they come out with new plans. And tomorrow I will be doing my 15 Pro titanium Bluetooth 56 unboxing because it'll be at my house tomorrow.
Solid, bro.
Yeah, but I want to thank you guys so much for having me, Sneed. Appreciate you, bro. But I got to
No
get inside
problem.
this building before I get a phone call because I'm in front of the bar. And I'm
All
supposed to
right.
be inside, not outside.
All right.
All right, guys.
T-Mobile, the GOAT in 5G, homie.
How much you want to bet
Come on,
that as of today, Verizon and AT&T are now formulating plans to do the same thing for their legacy customers?
No, not that fast. I don't
Shut
think
up,
so.
bro.
Not,
Shut
not
up,
that,
bro.
not that fast. Not that fast. Not
Bro,
that
Harlan
fast.
said, hell no.
Blasphemy.
I'm telling you,
Blasphemy.
don't be surprised. Don't be
I'll
surprised.
I'll pay $20 more per line
Hold
a
on,
month.
Blasphemy.
hold on. Moose, I got to ask you something. This is, you're one of the smartest dudes I know. This would be the first time ever that the big two, well, we'll just call it, blue and red, would be responding to T-Mobile,
They
right?
opened the door. And if
So
they
you're
are
saying
able,
because it's advantageous to the carrier, they're going to follow suit.
think about it like this. If they don't get any class action lawsuits, there's no repercussions from this. There's nothing to stop them. They'll do it.
Now,
And I
now
know
that I agree with, but you won't. But that's not something that you can tell in 90 days. Like you're gonna have to watch this over the next at least 6 months
What if it
before
creates
you can
churn,
really
Moose?
accurately say
Yeah,
it.
I
What
don't
if it
think they'll do it
creates
right away.
churn?
Yeah, you're gonna have to take that one real slow. You're gonna have to really do your research and really
if
watch.
Verizon's the next one to do this, by the way, which I'm almost betting that they will be the next one to do this.
Moose.
Okay?
I disagree.
It's
Verizon
I
raised
disagree.
pricing. Verizon raised
Exactly.
pricing $2 a line on legacy plans, and they had churn for an entire year.
they have nothing to lose. They're already losing customers on the consumer side.
But I mean, in what realm of the universe would a company that has had a churn problem all of a sudden reintroduce a churn problem they're trying to address?
Because
Talk to me, bro.
again,
It doesn't.
there's nothing stopping the customers leaving now.
But you're not
Their
answering
churn is
my
still
question,
up.
Moose. You have to tell me how a carrier who has churn problems feels like they should go ahead and reintroduce churn
How
problems.
much
Make
money
that
do you
make
think
sense.
it takes to keep legacy billing systems? That's what
You
the
don't
issue
have to
is
have a.
here.
You don't have to have a. You don't have to have a legacy billing system in order to be able to
Yeah,
service these older plans. You
dude.
don't have to have that.
Yes, you do. Let me
No,
tell you how it
not
No, you do
works.
not.
no.
Let me tell you how it works.
Now with
Okay?
Verizon, bro.
Let me
Because
tell you how it works. If AT&T was to do this by Q1, no later than March of next year, they will be saving hundreds of millions of dollars every year.
well
Because how many billing systems do you think
that's
are
because
operating? Yeah.
AT&T has 15 billing systems,
bro.
Moose.
That's because AT&T has a
But you
billing
don't.
system just to finance accessories, and then just to finance phones, they have
Yep.
another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to create a brand new billing system
Oh,
every time you
snap.
create a new plan. That's not required. You don't have to have a new billing system for every
Not a new
plan.
billing
Bro,
It
system,
doesn't work
no.
that way.
But I'm talking about the old billing
But
system
that's the, like,
before, like before the unlimited Your Way billing system was created, right? That is a significant amount of plans that are still active.
so Moose.
but you
So
can
I'm
but
gonna
you can
tell.
migrate that information to a new plan, like
They
to a new
don't.
billing system.
It costs more
And
money.
AT&T may not, but there are other companies that do. Go ahead, Los. I'm sorry, I
Hey,
didn't mean to cut you off.
so when I had AT&T on the legacy plan, I had it on the older unlimited BlackBerry plan.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2019 or 2020 when I canceled that eventually canceled that plan, they had to literally log in through they had to open up another app on the iPad in order to access my account because it was a whole separate system. But with Verizon, it's the same program because I have the newest plan, and then I got the 05 plan and the 17 plan. They open it on the same thing.
Right.
I remember on the old plan on AT&T, I wasn't even able to access my AT&T, the app.
Right. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
but
That AT&T would save so much money. Would save
yeah,
money.
of course
Yeah.
they would because they didn't merge everything into one system. Verizon
Right.
already has. They run on one system. It's one system that opens up any account.
Right.
And
It could be. It
that's
could
what I
be.
was trying to say. You can move that data over.
Right, but it costs more money. I guess in the sense of AT&T, it would cost them more money than to just shut it down. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think it
I
makes
mean,
sense, and I think I don't think that Moose is way off by saying that the other carriers are watching how this is going to go, because
of course.
legacy plans have been, like legacy plans have been a thorn in the carrier side for decades now. Trying to get customers over to new plans and migration and everything, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. People don't like change. So I think that Moose is
This
right to that point. Like, just my only disagreement is on the timeline. I don't think this is something that's going to happen, first or second quarter of next year. I mean, I think it's going to be something that's going to be a little bit more gradual. But I do agree with his point that this is something that's being watched, and if it's relatively successful, and there's not a whole lot of craziness that comes with it, as far as lawsuits and all that kind of ridiculousness, then you have a new precedent that's set. And absolutely, I
I
wouldn't blame Verizon or AT&T for doing the same types of things if it's a year or two down the road or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't blame them, because again,
the
if the consumer allows this to happen, then they're saying it's okay. Period.
the reason I can see Verizon getting rid of the legacy plans or pushing people over is because the older plans don't have to obey the network management rules of today. They get full unthrottled access, especially if you're
Yeah,
like
but
me on
Los,
a
but
No
with
5
the
Unlimited.
right, Los, but with the all this capacity coming on air, the network management's not really a big thing anymore, you know?
Well, then you got people that were not like as smart as, like, let's say, like ourselves, that were on those legacy plans that ended up paying the $10 extra fee for the ultra wideband. So Verizon wants to unload everything on ultra wideband, so those plans will be stuck on nationwide. You get what I'm saying? So that's another thing too. So I kind of see Moose's thing. If how can you unload traffic to the new stuff that you just paid for, that's supposed to relieve stuff, and then migrate, that spectrum over to the new to 5G, if you got people stuck on plans that can't even access the ultra wideband.
I'll tell you another thing why. So it's not just the billing system, guys, but there's also the underlying tech stack. So what I mean by that is this: every single rate plan in the industry has certain parameters. Essentially, imagine like checkboxes, right? Um, for an example, the FirstNet rate plans have this thing called priority, right? So that's actually a check box that you can click on Premiere if you're on a agency account or if you're on the legacy FirstNet subscriber paid. That's an extra add-on that will give you priority and preemption when it's when you're in the area of that emergency situation, right? So just like in a regular consumer rate plan, right? You have uh, the 5G checkbox, right? Okay, 5G checkbox slash 5G plus, right? Or whatever, right? Then you have unlimited international as a checkbox, right? All of these checkboxes cost money in order to actually build into the rate plans. That's why every single time there's a new rate plan, it does cost something. It's not free, right? So that's why I'm saying that to consolidate into one tech stack, one billing system, man, that is huge cost savings over time. So that's why I believe that T-Mobile is willing to risk a significant amount of subscribers just to do this switch because they'll be able to make more efficiencies, right? Their situation. They're going to be able to increase their ARPUs significantly, and they'll be able to get rid of these customers that um, are not eligible for national promotions. That's another thing that we have to talk about. Those legacy plans did not qualify for the national promotions, which means that you are losing the trade-in revenue from that device as well, right? So that's another reason why your EBITDA is going to go up is because your costs are going down all across the board. Your ARPU for the rate plan itself is going to go massively up. Your trade-in revenue is going to go up because more people are going to have access to the national promotions. And the final piece that I can say is this: when you have everybody on the latest and greatest plans, you don't have to worry about, the backlash of, oh, I have to raise rates. They already did it one time. So there's no need to raise rates at the current time because those are the most current rate plans.
What else, folks? What do you think we've missed? Any angles to this? Anything that we haven't covered?
Bro, I think we covered it, bro. We
Yeah, I
covered
think
it.
so too. Let me get final thoughts from Franco. Maybe just pumped back in here.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say thanks for allowing me to come on tonight. I've been following the content for years for both Carlos and yourself, so I really appreciate the time tonight. And no, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with all the topics tonight. And definitely this forced migration, like Lou said, I think it's going to have long-term effects on the rest of the industry for sure. Eventually, other companies will respond, but it's not going to be within the first, 3 to 6 months. I think it's at least going to be 12 to 18 before we see anything from Big Red or the Death Star.
Oh, bro. You don't even know what I just read right now, bro. Oh, my God, Sneed. I'm going to have to send you this link. Dude, T-Mobile's planning on... I don't know what hospital, whatever, is going to sign up with them, bro. But they're talking about doing healthcare first 5G hybrid network where they store people's information on their hybrid network. Oh, my God. That's going to get breached, bro. Medical records are going to go. Oh, my God. This is all bad, bro.
I would never go to that hospital because my medical information will be leaked. It's going to get hacked immediately.
I know. Bro, I'm going to send it to you, Sneed.
Alrighty, let me get B's final thoughts on this. I want to hear his final thoughts here.
It was a great conversation, great discussion. Very interesting moves from T-Mobile. Interesting announcement. At the end of the day, this is just them kind of saying the growth period. We're done getting the empty calories. We now got to try to acquire customers that are going to help provide, I guess, some meaningful impacts to their financials, some positive impacts. So, I think it is what it is. I think the aggressive pricing and promotions across the industry because of that are going to shift. You're going to see more stability. You're going to see the entire industry now kind of pivot towards more what the Verizon mindset has been, which is a focus on financials and trying to um, pay off debt. Kind of be smart with the finances and everything. And then I also want to say, I just want to reassert what I was saying before as far as prepaid. I think that's the next domino to fall. We're going to start seeing prepaid and MVNO pricing start to increase as a result of this, because again, the carriers, they got a lot of debt and it's time to pay it off, and they want to do that, especially with rates being as high as it is, or as they are. We're going to start to see a focus on being financially prudent. It makes a lot of sense. I honestly support it. It's been a long time coming, so I think we should all be prepared for that going forward.
Moose?
So the theme of this podcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen, vindication. Vindicated. Never lost. Okay? Never lost. I'm telling you right now, I feel so happy. I feel so happy. Exactly. Clapping them cheeks. And I feel sad at the same time because you hate being right all the time, man. You really do. Because
I feel you.
the thongs didn't believe it. We got too many shills, fanboys. They don't even work for the damn company and they still are trying to defend him. Doesn't make sense.
It's crazy, Moose. There are published posts saying that I was wrong, saying that it would never happen, saying, questioning my credibility, questioning my acumen, questioning my intelligence. I mean, we're talking personal. These are personal shots, right? It's not like they were poking holes in my take. They wanted to poke holes at me. So now they look stupid. They have to eat crow, but they won't come back.
No.
There won't be an apology.
No.
They don't have platforms, so there won't be a video saying they were wrong.
No.
I just got to continue to do what I do.
That's always going to be a situation where, these fools, they don't understand how this thing works. You've said it time and time again. Watch what no, what's the quote, Sneed?
The quote is, "Don't listen to what the carriers say, watch what they do."
Exactly.
They said price locks, but what did they do?
Boom.
Them's the facts.
It's so
Sneed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sneed has said it before, and you guys are preaching. You're right. Sneed has said it before. Yeah.
This is not new information, man. This has been an ongoing battle since 2020 when we knew that this merger was going to happen. We've said this on podcast for hours.
I know,
and
Moose.
Sneed, he said it as
Moose,
well about Seaver, man. Seaver has been the least.
Go ahead, B.
Go ahead, Los.
No, I was just gonna say,
I'm sorry.
Moose, how accurate were my sources, bro, about the whole merger
100%,
the whole time?
100%.
This is so accurate that it's very scary.
Ban 1,000, bro.
So sad.
People should have put money on me. They would have won some.
But you know what's really unfortunate out of all this? Sievert's been talking out of both sides of his mouth. When he fired 5,000 people, he said, we got to do this in order to give the customers what they want. Now, what are you going to say? Now, what do you say? What's the reason? You said you had to fire 5,000 people because the customers demand certain things. Well, now what? Now, what's the excuse? Are you going to come out and say it? Now the investors need something. Say it.
He would never say that, at least. He gonna say something, but he would never say that. Even if that is the truth, he wouldn't throw the investors under the bus.
Hey, PA Tech. So PA Tech brought up a good thing about the 5G UC upcharge. Remember? That's gonna be I promise you this: the people that stay to opt out of the new plans, those will be the ones that'll get hit with the 5G UC upcharge. Promise you that.
You know what's crazy about
Nah,
Sievert? He was booted out of AT&T and he was booted out of Microsoft. I don't know if
I
you guys
wonder
know
why.
I don't know if you guys know the history of and big shout out to my dude Tony Phony Baloney. He calls him Mike Deceivert. It's hilarious. You guys know
Sweaty the
Sweaty
armpits.
Armpits, man. Yeah. You remember back in the day when it was the sweater vest?
Le sudan
Yeah.
las arcas.
Oh, listen, los gusanos hacen chandan en las sombras. You gotta know something, dog.
They like the caca.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it up on my end here, the recap and the reason why I came in as soon as I could right after work, because I want to tell people being right is really sad today because a lot of people are going to be feeling the squeeze. We got inflation, we got grocery prices are triples in some places now. We got student debt repayments are restarting, okay? Which means that the majority of those people that are in but literally month to month situation are going to now have to decide, what am I going to pay? Am I going to pay my rent? Am I going to pay my car insurance? Am I going to pay my car payment? Or am I going to pay my phone bill?
Oh
Now,
snap. Hold
now,
on, Moose.
wait.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Okay.
T-Mobile just added 1,000 new customer support jobs. Why
What
did
did I
they do
tell
that,
you?
Moose? Why did they do
Whoa,
that?
what did I tell you?
Breaking news.
Because they don't have enough people to service all the people that are going to be calling in. And I did the math, by
But
the way. I did the math. Hold up. Let me tell you. How many calls do you think per day a customer service rep does?
20?
No, more.
no,
15.
at least 200.
Depending on the call time duration, right? It's at minimum 50. And I agree with Los, at most 200. Okay? There's no way with their current staff they're going to be able to do 1 million in 30 days. It's just not possible. So, just to recap one last time, just to recap, okay? Vindication, never lost,
Penetration.
penetration, the cheeks. I feel sorry. I feel bad. It is
Oh
what
my
it is.
God.
Go to a new carrier. It's not worth it anymore. Done.
Use the Mint Mobile code from Sneed Mobile Tech today.
Hey
Don't
Moose.
get raped in the
Hey,
booty anymore.
here you go, B. What truck is that in front of me, B?
I have no idea. What truck is it, Los?
Verizon Fios, bro. With the big old Verizon logo. But
Hey
they're
man,
not.
you know, at
But
the
they're
end of the
not.
day,
Hey, but they're not expanding their files though, bro. Supposedly.
hey man, hey man, hey man, Los, you be on top of it, man. You be on top of
Hey
it.
Moose.
You
Right.
know, I've
Hey
said it
Moose.
before.
Hey Moose, maybe you
Yeah.
could update. I think Devon just got in here. I think he missed that stat you had about that focus group.
Yeah.
How
So
many
the
how many
focus group.
people out of 100 surveyed are likely to call in about this?
So 91% of the folks did not call in, did not reach out, didn't do anything. So they got migrated over, no problem, in the forced migration.
How you,
Only
Let it
Wow.
9%.
ride. Let it ride.
Only 9% of folks actually called in. And by the way, remember, it's only 100 people. So they had the ability to call in. But then when you expand it to 1 million, 10 million, 15, 20, 40 million customers, the chances of
That's
you
right.
getting into the care center and calling in and talking to somebody exponentially go down because there's no way that even a
That's right.
million people in 30 days are going to be able to call in. You can do the math.
Nah,
Yep.
I mean,
you on hold.
I mean, and to that point, that's why I say if they increased it to 60 days, to 60 days, that will be fine or whatever the case. I think it's fair to say more time is needed because of what he's talking about from an infrastructure standpoint. Unless you're gonna hire some more people, which they're not gonna do, they just got to finish cutting customer care. Then you got to do something as far as the time is concerned. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, let me get Max Tech Studios in here. Closing statements, Max, before we log out the show.
Yeah, basically when I first saw this, I was just like, well, what did you expect? That's just how they roll today. That's just how they do it now.
So you weren't surprised? You weren't caught off guard?
No, well, I mean,
Can't hear him.
kind of like, in terms of like the specifics, not really something I expected, but I wouldn't put this past the current T-Mobile.
Are they capable of doing worse or hitting more plans in the future?
Possibly. I mean, I think they hit all the biggest legacy plans right now, but maybe we'll start to see like Magenta Plus go 5G Plus, Magenta MAX even.
Yo, shout out to the homie Cat in the live chat. Love from Ben and Molly. Meow. All right. Big shout out to all the members. Big shout out to the Patreon supporters. All the goats for real.
Yeah.
Everybody with the super chats. Everybody here on the panel. Oh snap! There's big hails.
Big shout out to the big YouTuber SMT, always bringing the latest news.
Yo, shout out to Max for coming in at the buzzer. Hit him with the Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ricky, B, Los, Moose, Frank, who was in here earlier. EM Tech was with us for a moment. Hit me with your favorite hashtag, people. I guess.
Dump the skunk.
Ravioli gang.
Yeah, hashtag ravioli gang straight up. You know.
Dump the skunk.
But guys, watch those plan changes. Yeah, watch those plan changes on T-Mobile and act accordingly. We out this piece.
Churn.
Peace.
Hashtag churn and burn.